Are you planning a trip to Glacier National Park? Watch this video to hear the important things you should know before visiting the park in 2025. I'll be sharing some pertinent information, some important updates to ensure that you get the most out of your trip. But before we get into it, opening sequence. Hello everyone, welcome back for an all-new National Parks Insights video. My name is Jeff Hyer and I'm an eco-travel content creator. I create videos like this to help people feel inspired and informed before visiting natural places. The destinations I cover would include Yellowstone, Grand Teton National Park, and my very own backyard, the topic of today's video, Glacier National Park. I grew up just outside the park and this is my current home base, so I definitely know this place very intimately. On this channel, I provide insightful videos about Glacier. If you haven't already, please subscribe to support my content and stay updated. Last year, I posted a video where I shared important things you should know before visiting Glacier in 2024. Many people found this helpful and it gained a lot of positive feedback. Given some recent changes, I wanted to create an updated version for 2025. So let's dive into it. I've broken up this video into 8 parts, 8 important things you should know before visiting Glacier in 2025. Let's start with the first one, which is going to be a big one. The first thing you should know before visiting the park is that there's a vehicle reservation system. Starting June 13th through September 28th, the park requires timed entry vehicle reservations for certain areas. If you're planning to drive your own vehicle, it's crucial to know which entrances require reservations. Again, if you're going to be driving your own car, you're going to want to pay attention to this. The vehicle reservation system was implemented to manage traffic. Due to limited road capacity, especially on the Going to the Sun road, this system helps mitigate congestion. Every single year, this system is adjusted, and there are some recent changes made for 2025. To help explain this, let's look at a map of Glacier National Park. If you aren't familiar with the area, Glacier Park is divided into 4 main sectors, each accessed through different gates. We have the North Fork in the northwest. We have the West Glacier and St. Mary's section, collectively known as the Going to the Sun Road. We have Two Medicine in the southeast, then we have Many Glacier in the northeast. For 2025, timed entry vehicle reservations are required for the west entrance of the Going to the Sun Road and the North Fork. Again, reservations are required to enter through these gates if you plan on visiting from June 13th until September 28th. I have these points marked on the map here for reference. So when do these reservations become available and how do you get one? It's actually quite easy to obtain this. All you have to do is visit recreation.gov, select the date you're hoping for, add it to your cart, and purchase it for $2. These reservations become available 120 days, approximately 4 months in advance on a rolling basis. For example, if you want a reservation on the 5th of August, you're going to be logging on April 5th to reserve that. If you're not planning your trip really far in advance and you miss this window, there's nothing to worry about. That's because the other batch of these reservations are going to become available 1 day prior to your desired entry date. Those will become available at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Using the same example, if you want a reservation on August 5th, you're going to be logging on to recreation.gov on August 4th at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. What changed this year is that there are now timed entry blocks and they're available in 2-hour increments. So you have to choose a reservation within these blocks. There's 7 to 9, 9 to 11, 11 to 1, and 1 to 3. Visitors will enter the park according to the time block they have reserved and can remain in the park for as long as they like on the day of their reservation. And if you don't have a reservation, there are some loopholes and alternative options. For one, if you want to access the Going to the Sun Road and you don't have a reservation for West Glacier, you can access it from the St. Mary side. You will have to get all the way to the east side, which might be quite a drive depending on where you're staying, but it's still a possibility. The other alternative is really your timing. You can enter the park before 7 a.m. or after 3 p.m. This option is ideal for early risers or those planning a sunset visit. The reservation system is really there to mitigate congestion during peak traffic times. One little detail to mention, at the West Glacier entrance, a vehicle reservation is only necessary if you plan to drive beyond the Apgar checkpoint. Access to Apgar Village and Lake McDonald Beach does not require a reservation. You will be able to get into this whole area. This is a hub of activity in the summer. It's only required if you plan to go beyond that and drive the Going to the Sun road. The second important thing you should know is that you will have to have a National Parks Pass. There are a lot of people who often get caught up in the vehicle reservation system and forget that you will have to just have a standard National Parks Pass. Regardless of your entry point, a valid National Parks Pass is required for access. This pass covers the entire vehicle, so only one member of your group sharing the same car will need one. If you want to have yours in advance, you can find a link for it in the description below. The third thing you should know before visiting the park this year is that Many Glacier is gonna be a construction zone. Many Glacier is a popular area to visit for its hiking trails, and it's gonna be a bit trickier to get onto these trails this year. In 2025, the Many Glacier area will be undergoing significant construction. This will impact visitor access. The Swift Current area, including the Many Glacier Campground and Swift Current Motor Inn, will be closed, reducing available parking. From July 1st to September 21st, personal vehicle access into Many Glacier will be restricted. So instead of getting a vehicle reservation to access this gate, you will instead need a shuttle reservation. A temporary shuttle service will be provided for hikers to access Many Glacier and the Swift Current areas. Only visitors with commercial service or lodging reservations, such as those staying at the Many Glacier Hotel, will be permitted to drive into this area. So all day trippers are gonna need this shuttle. The shuttle service is expected to take about 15 to 30 minutes from the pickup point to the trailheads. A valid park pass is still required for your group, and it's advisable to reserve your shuttle tickets in advance. To get your shuttle reservations for Many Glacier, I also have that link in the description below. This brings me to my fourth point, which is that you should check road and trail closures before entering the park. Conditions in Glacier National Park can change rapidly due to wildlife activity, weather, or maintenance. Road and trail closures may occur without warning. This does happen often. To stay informed on places you really want to get to, I suggest regularly checking the park's current conditions page before and during your visit. This resource provides up-to-date info on road statuses and trail availability. They make this map really easy to read. You can see that the roads that are open right now are green and those that are closed are red. Obviously, it's really early in the season and a lot has not opened up yet. And a lot of these roads open in phases, so to check on those based on when you're going, check this map. Going back to the topic of shuttles, the fifth thing you should know before visiting is that there are lots of free shuttles in Glacier National Park. Parking is quite difficult and limited, and it sounds like it's going to be even more so this year. So if you want to ditch the hassle, the free shuttle system is definitely something worth considering. I have a shuttle map here that shows you all the different stops. As you can see, it stops at the main trailheads, and it's a very great way to get up and down the Going to the Sun road. If you want to visit Logan Pass, which is the highest point of elevation on the road, this is a really convenient way to get up there because parking does fill up and it's always so crammed up here. I've driven up there many times and I have not always been successful in getting a parking spot. So on the days where I just don't want to deal with that, that's when I take the shuttles. I think it's good to know that these are free and available to you. Moving on to the sixth thing that's helpful to know is that there are excellent guided day trips in Glacier National Park. These are guided day hikes and tours. If you sign up for one, they'll handle all the logistics for you, so you won't have to worry about parking, reservations, or navigating crowded areas. Many of these tours have special guaranteed access, which makes it easier to explore without the usual hassles. Even as a local, I've joined several guided tours and hikes. I always find them incredibly enriching. The guides provide deep insight into the park's history, ecology, and unique landscapes, enhancing your overall experience beyond what you get on your own. Many tours even offer pickups right at your accommodation, making them a fantastic option if you don't have your own vehicle. They'll transport you in and out of the park for the day and ensure a seamless adventure. I've linked some tours that I personally recommend in the description below, so check those out if you're interested. Item number 7 on this list is safety. Let's have a quick safety chat. I don't want to alarm you in any way, but I think it's necessary to have a quick conversation on safety. National parks are wild places, and Glacier is no exception. The park is home to one of the last remaining strongholds of grizzly bears, so it's crucial to be bear aware. If you plan on hiking, at least one person in your group should carry bear spray and know how to use it. Encounters with bears can happen, and you should always respect that this is their territory. Beyond wildlife, it's important to be well prepared for your adventures. Every year, visitors underestimate the elements and end up in dangerous situations. If you plan on hiking, bring plenty of water, a first aid kit, weather-appropriate clothing, and enough food. many trailheads have no food options nearby. Unfortunately, every year people push the SOS button simply because they didn't prepare properly. Speaking of emergencies, I recently became a certified WIFR. WIFR stands for Wilderness First Responder. This means I'm trained to handle medical emergencies in really remote locations. During my training, I spoke to many people who work in search and rescue, and it was a great chance to hear about their stories and what kind of calls they've received. Many emergencies they told me about really stemmed from dehydration, exhaustion, and lack of preparation. Things that all could have been avoided. That said, people also abuse the SOS button. Believe it or not, I heard stories about people pressing the SOS button when they're looking for park information or they can't find a parking spot. Those are not medical emergencies. Again, that is not what the SOS line is for. It should only be used in life-threatening situations such as injuries or illnesses. If you're curious about what I bring on hiking excursions, I've included some links in the description with my recommended packing essentials. A little preparation goes a long way in ensuring a safe and enjoyable experience. Alright, the final thing you should know before visiting Glacier National Park is that you should respect it. Every visitor plays a role in preserving Glacier's extraordinary ecosystem. Seriously. If you've been following the recent politics in the US, you may know that national parks have recently faced funding and staffing changes. This means fewer resources and potential challenges in park management. While we don't know yet the full impact of these changes, it's clear that everyone who enters Glacier must do their part to keep it pristine and functioning. These are some simple things you can do to help. You can leave no trace, pack out what you bring in, stay on the trails, avoid damaging fragile ecosystems, don't pick the wildflowers, let nature thrive undisturbed. Respect park staff, they work hard to keep the park running even with limited resources. And lastly, be patient and kind. Things may not always be perfectly organized, but a positive attitude goes a long way. Remember, visiting Glacier is a privilege. Let's make sure future generations can experience its beauty just as we do today. And that's it for today's Glacier National Park Insights video. I hope you found this video helpful in your travel planning. If you want to dive deeper into Glacier's hiking trails, camping spots, or insider tips, check out my Glacier National Park playlist. I have tons of hike reviews, camping vlogs, and more insights to help you get the most of your visit. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful experience in Glacier National Park. Look out for me on the trails, and I'll see you next time.